the garden behind the bride's parents' beautiful home, the maid of honor, high school chum, hands shaking violently and touchingly, an MFA in poetry now in business school, speaks of the bride, an artist and would-be curator who works temporarily in a law office as Botticelli's Venus, and recalls a photograph from their school years of the bride who stands modestly, radiant in white lace, standing on a table surrounded by underclass men on their knees. Who could be deserving of such a match? The best man, a poet now in law school, has already told us. It is his college friend, the groom, a poet and newly minted lawyer heading for Wall Street, a contemporary basho who taught him the significance of everyday events where getting a sandwich is not just getting a sandwich, the art of living. Those who live for beauty can only give it away. In the Christian calendar, today is Holy Thursday, where we celebrate Last Supper. This is a poem called The Offering. We took the bus from Riverside to Main Street, my mother and I, my first time at Mass. St. Francis Church inside was gloomy and cold. Put off by bloody depictions of suffering in statuary and stained glass, as well as beyond death stares of small animals from ladies' shoulders, I stretched out on the hard bench and found Jesus in the clouds with angels on the ceiling. When a green felt basket at the end of a long wooden pole passed, I reached in and grabbed several coins, holding on until my mother, red-faced, administered a slap. Oh, the embarrassment and muffled hilarity it caused to believe the one who transformed his body and blood might offer us change. Now we've come to our theme. It can be as easy as changing channels. This is called channel surfing. The dog, we learned on Animal Planet, was once a wolf who approached human fires to be invited in, offered food. On The Bachelor, several women from the wilderness approach a wealthy man's fires, hoping to be invited in. This seems to be a theme. On HBO, a young woman in just a strip of fur dances on a pole by the fire of a spotlight, while in the shadows on the periphery, grizzled old men approach. Tired of all this quid pro quo, call it love, call it a business transaction, call it human interaction, on PBS we celebrate a man who, fed up, leaves the fires of civilization for the wilderness to become a lone wolf. This next one's called Grace. Grace always brings change. Walking along the road in Bermuda, that pink sand island overlaid with a grid of British culture, my wife plucks a purplish flower and fastens it in her hair, making her even more beautiful, something I wouldn't have thought possible just a moment before. A gesture so sophisticated and natural, pushing back with wonder the boundaries of experience and understanding to the point where it would take me working day by day, becoming incrementally a better poet, 35 years to frame it. And immediately, on the spot, a better person to see it. This one's for any senior citizens. Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me, man. This is called Leaf. It all comes together, I see, a golden buckeye awaiting his turn, as you would expect a mature gentleman might, a allowing you who just received your card this week to begin your release, which is just a rehearsal for the final one where you will, no doubt, come last. So I can witness your autumnal orgiastic display, red spreading between your breasts and under your chin like a maple leaf disengaging, becoming more beautiful in the fall, losing yourself. We've all read coming-of-age novels and seen coming-of-age movies. This is a coming-of-age poem. My roommate's girlfriend's older sister, having just broken up with her fraternity boyfriend, wants to grieve alone. So there still being time, I decide to make it home to celebrate the new decade. But a fire on the Long Island Railroad causes a 3-hour delay, so I'm bearing my suitcase through Times Square as crowds are forming on my way to Grand Central to catch the last train to Bridgeport and missing the one to Waterbury where my mother can pick me up. There are limits, I find, to even a mother's concern or an ex-girlfriend's throwing a party in Milford I could attend, she allows, though she couldn't provide a ride. It's snowing, the station closing. I take refuge underage in a nearby bar where I toast the end of the 60s with a knockout motherly Puerto Rican bartender, oars with hearts of gold, and a wise old black man who's been precisely where I am, he assures, living up to cliche. You want change? This is the revolution. During the great marijuana famine of 1968, our little New England factory town was a veritable dust bowl. Able to stand it no longer one July day, Mike, the county's biggest radical, Phil, and I called off work and drove Phil's dad's station wagon out of our Smoky Valley down to visit my new college chum, Rupert. Rupert, son of privilege, lived up the street from Barbara Streisand at Sands Point, Long Island, New York. His father was a world-renowned rectal surgeon. The asshole doctor, Steve called him, after seeing the eminent physician chasing Rupert's mother with a hammer. Alas, neither Rupert nor his brothers who resembled the Beach Boys had any. But standing by the cabana in their park-like backyard, Big Mike, he's an attorney today. There's no better man to know if you're busted for DUI on Cape Cod, had a revelation. Fuck the revolution, he proclaimed. I want a swimming. So like a couple years ago, he does have a swimming pool. A couple more. How about a change of season? This is called December Ode. Strings of lights on trees, wreaths, winter flowers, plastic ornaments. Even a nativity scene carved on a desk. Yes, we're commemorating the baby Jesus and Santa Claus up and down the block. But before that, winter in its darkness, its icy clarity, the prodigal son returning home briefly with his new wife, to find it familiar, touching how it ever held him, and the faithful daughter, his sister, for an intermittent spell of eternity, now that they've connected with other families, other neighborhoods, other societies with appropriate manners, different fashions and routines. It's good to return to what is unchanging, though it is ever-changing, too slow for them to notice. Might they pick up on points of erosion, the undertow? Let us celebrate them with wine, with a fatted something killed while it was alive, the coming stillness, if there is no stillness. Still, here we are.